okayfm 101.7.
Nana Obiri Boahen eye emranim ni yene nana ehye nkomotwetwe se ena no pay yemfa free office of the special prosecutor nana machi no pay
yo that's a brand new so
na wotwi ewie ye na etesen
ya akwaya kweda bi ase ade tene ya ntia sompo fra na yitiri ja nse sekuru ya mi gusi so yi ese wo government WhatsApp group ja so what no asem na WhatsApp group no so enti another young factor and then you can go on. Well, the special prosecutor somehow can. May I concentrate on the special prosecutor and the alleged coup in Benin?
Nana you special prosecutor. Then why you say, you diffiasim you answer ni atiesi abonten.
Yeah, I mean special prosecutor and the alleged coup in Benin. You see, special prosecutor, I have to say, Ebia. Akunya bi ya friend ohina akunya na ebia sabi ohina ba ko bi ana ohina no di akunya no waya ade a emfata ana nyefe mayen kase saadi ya yentwa ahini just because ebia no di akunya no ne oye no enso ani ana no nya sufficient enough for us to see yentwa ahini. Rather, young Kwana the first one, the occupant of the Akunyano or Helen Akunyano, Yabesha near Benshi, and now say, well be the Akunyano, Yabesha near Benshi. Number one and fat back could be out here Kunyano soa. Okoya dia enfata na ense na nun to be either from one bufu, Akasi Yinka him. There's a video be going around, meaning so one can they assume woman be nonsense and trouble for an interview? No, Odidi MPP presidential plans in Apet Kasachron say, Wami ya Sankwas. You see, as I said, Ohene Kasa or Kasasa Badrimba. As I saw Ohene Kasa on Kasasa and Nifi. As I saw him a casa, on casa say a man and Katie, no crabim. As I saw him a casa, on casa say, we dear Oyahene. But for him and casa say, we want to hear on a bagimba and then a near fee. No casa bassa sabi, send a cadi in a no casana. That would not be justification for people to say, yen chat, a hin it we say. Or Unibisu Kasa or Kasa with maturity. So with the special the person occupying the position here from Subia, that should not be sufficient enough for us. So we have the office of special prosecutor, ting. You know, we should look at it very well. And then see how best you bet me Akorano and Antikabum. The office of special prosecutor, last Binamica said, and yet that upon the second thought, Namika the office should still be there. Because it looks like when you have the Attorney General, MPP bar, or MPP Niama, NDC bar, political cases, or NDC Niama. But no, MPP bar, obviously, a check is NDC boss here checking them. So, special prosecutor na ya mama kan biye nyina mane ya enka abde ba kwa mi eye ne ya Sam Martin Amidu because Martin Amidu wa wonim no bia he's a disciplinarian of you he's a senior seasoned lawyer Sabiu Kafache oye ni party seni obetuma yam for so the bet Martinami du obia unya no ne ye de ne bu mmanya eboa And therefore, during the MPP time, Nana Martinami do or complain. The best member say complain be on my name your friends, name your business. Complain be on my na bawu. So the political atmosphere, a creative situation is a Martinami do complain be of a baby. So it was an opportunity. I am message pa Martinami.
Nane.
But well, okay. Now, I never quite I young said. No been complaining about the special prosecutor. Like MPP for being on
Nana, Wadama, and Sana Yabeba, Kiseja Bay, the current special prosecutor. So no, my young fan come free, I say, office of the special prosecutor. Although Ansana Ebebano not Bibisa Niho. Now, the constitution, no, as in your day bano. Your due diligence, who say, a son, a brasso, and we were ready to give it that mandate. No, there wouldn't be any interference at the Bayer. A bar, the impact and then the performance, a bit meet the expectation.
You see, but I'll tell you,
Nana Metuan Kapa.
You see, in 1983 or 84, Rollins set up the public tribunal. The public tribunal, so now Rollins set it up. Not courts on all. I agree. So, public tribunal, now, and especially Pabina don't go through the other. But the situation at that time now, on the public tribunal, no bed. Let us be ready to.
okayfm.
Let us be ready to. It is like somebody telling me, "Say, I'm a public tribunals." In my candid opinion, in my personal opinion, I mean, because the experience I young and your family, you're the public tribunal, but many family and sent that to us. Now, I have to say, ye dear somewhere. Many Americans say, yes. I have some colleagues in the MPP who will say no. People, imagine they say, and this abandoned pension by the public tribunal for number two. And yet, they didn't say no. They didn't say yes. Because you're not a penny. So it's like what you were saying, no? Special prosecutor, no? And the office of the special prosecutor. At the material time now, the dear Bano. And yet, it is like Shraj. At the material time on the Shraj Bible. And yet, at the time when one more day, national investigation Rollins at the buy, year 9, I don't know. And yet, because not sabi police CID war na GDN war from until one more day, BNI no buy him. No sure no war. Woman should move to me, mamma, for a course. So the office of special prosecutor, maybe Obiri Boahen here, me pay. Yes, that's a kisse jabbing a banana amount for a young tokwa, Mawa Yankase. Sekisse jabbing a month for a young tokwenty. Second day a boom. Can it be Akasa can sabi in some hununti, Yanka him, into the kisse jabbing binumania a year. And also, you special office of special prosecutor. And you know, the irony of the situation you cry said, among Fueka and people Fueka, and the people like the life of Martin Pebu were justifying that institution and in your own bay. Yet the Paul Adamo to the court, me as your own land property, Murano see Uni Pia. Martin Pebu or Obiri. And then you could do Martin Pebusu, a dimension of it. So it's also hypocrisy, dishonesty, intellectual dishonesty. And then I'm a man I could do to. Because here was Martin Pebu going every length and breadth to defend the special prosecutor and the Yoko. That Paul Adumo Chiroka, so if your boy, na me no mo ka say kura man from kire ne Japan now also so there also so for land property but you know in the Martin Pebu case I said it said no matter Bonia Martin Pebu ye or your well known character intina nkabetimma self-recognizance bill now people are calling for Martin Pebunti. The conclusion I be better Martin Pebunti, better special officer Yenkem. Yes, Damasako, commentary or submission in Parliament. Damasako submission in Parliament. And just suppose that was Kojo Ponkoma. The two of them are lawyers. But Kojo Ponkoma as a mock a clap. It's an exhibition of maturity, political maturity, legal maturity. Kojo upon Kromadiano, Utia, that's Ramete. Or Shahana Wakasa. But no, Nelson Damafiako, the basis of the submission, speakers here said, say, Usha, Martin Pebu, Barcelona. That was wrong. Because people had earlier called for the abolition of the office of special prosecutor. One can want some the same Martin Pegua. So for me, as a lawyer, as a politician, me person we are saying in NTA could go upon Kurmasam no NTA Yamabam and then I mean who said maturity, yes. Not to think I said the mafia and maturity. But in terms of politics, and if you want to move forward as an issue, may prefer could go upon Komano Diano. One. So coming back to the whom I income. Perhaps Matt he said that he has failed to live up to expectation. Menkasa he has failed to Menkasa.
Nana Yababana holistically I heard the performance as an individual.
General view. But generally
let me be say.
Generally, I cannot crucify Kusia Jabin because the side of the story.
Nane, Wadaroma, Yababa Kisia Jabin so in a bet, but let me be sir, building from the scratch, you say, you can't about Office of the Special Prosecutor, Office in the bear by the performance in the impact. Now, Emra Martin Alamisi Amidu. What out to the credentials, I say. Yes, indeed. On where didn't start here, none can the papa muano. But somewhere along the line, Ojato Hokoi. Nana and no, you say coming event don't catch your shadows, dear, but Kona Wokoi, and none can be interested. Or no, Waja de Aquaid, it doesn't matter who comes. Ever quack elephant, a white horse, and
okayfm 10.
Well, we cannot draw that conclusion because. Martin Alamisi Kaiser, you say, or a no-nonsense person. He's very principled. And I'll always make me chairman. Or you nipa, or make my young from so bad. But generally, Bua me Bruno, na me Shannon, and my son, me to chairman. Na say, Jumanji be all ye, not a bit of a church into a jaya. Now, it could also be, she said, a beer or no so, a Pacific beer, well, but the bottom line is that we are not can say, Matami Dupa, Office of Special Prosecutor, went to Mani and all queen, Ghana, Yashrabia. Kise Jabiaba. Oh, yeah. Any penny and I'll be the son. They may know what I know, because I mean, when he answered, so to say, my buasho will cry over bushy. So, and yet be an Kise Jabin, they are the show, Pierre, until being a been for and again. No, you be so, my telephone. Na, or my coach, Martin Cuban. Almost Omra, Ometra, no Martin Pebuaco. But look, for a start, this is my personal observation. Martin Pebun comes and I know some so could do or packing a car. I will be castle. Obia masa mempake ha ana manyesi and the response. Maybe the response was in the Baptist. Look, at the time one, my NPP deputy general secretary, and then a lawyer. Now my client to be a UO Tiwanum office. So I think it was Yuko. Bekono. What the canoe remoan some debris, see. Until we do any more men pass and cinema. No mama car ako pake a chili bed, you could a chili bed. Now, Udrua, where Ufu. Let me do a main castle, I own me, a firm Obiri Boahen. Deputy General Secretary Majidini. There is a man for you now, maybe before my home. Mpachowotenka.
Nana metu papa.
Maybe before my bed. But at the time, Bimpo, now the late Joshua Clement, no national security, now Minister of State at the Ministry of Interior. Now me call Joshua Clement home senior. Na me come do how I'm phone. I gave my phone. Me could do response to daddy. We a minister of state could do food. Me say no. I am a minister of state. Sorry, the Ambrasian number bibibra eboy. You are a minister of state at the Interior Ministry. What could office be a see a gigi food? Then tina esa me so me de mediako. Nipa no did maybe you name me. Including Castle. May Obiri Boahen, Minister of State. All beyond from Sumra. Let me inform him. What the Martin Pebu someone or kind of say, one packet you be careful. No, Martin Pebu one cassa. We don't do that. So, maybe a Nippona Cassa and one cassa, you have a friend penny about my bonamende. Sometimes, when I am ready of once, but with your Union, Martin Pebu has been detained, he has been admitted. I don't know. Almost as you being baby, and I'm almost so money in your phone. Come on, Fumina. Come on, man, self recognizance. Okay, I feel that the mafia call and people are calling for the abolition of the special prosecutor. Mr. Debbie, first, I can say, let's say, Mr. Debbie. Mumma, because we could go upon command. And he said, no, Mumma, young from one son, and you could. So going forward, Mama ya abolish the office of special prosecutor. But I think that we need people are God fearing. Na yebe politics say sabati MPP na NDC force here conditions in there. Martin Pebusu Konafi like Professor Zato said we yankan and I agree with what Professor Zato said. Also, never say Martin Pebudia and this including the Speaker of Parliament, they are all complaining. So let's keep the position intact. But politics in Ghana, politics in Africa, politics in Ghana, politics in Africa, just to be saying, Yankopon, yes, and Krana.
Nane, said the Okan a while ago, say, not before Nonka support, say, scrapping it off, no Nanka Nequem, but Uti, Honorable Kojo Ponkruma, you know. Now, Miss
Ambassador, the parent law,
and I'm a Wajin assessor. So do I also believe, say, or more qualified for scrapping, no? Yes, sure, the reasons are. Wamodia mantia or my sister Edna, and me assure no so what? What enough now.
What about baby?
Reasons are Wamodia Yenina Swintia or more casse, Office of the Special Prosecutor, Yen Chomuno. Minimusa knows what it be, and another maybe say, reasons in your tangible enough.
Daddy, it is like what is a Kade Abu Hine, continue be subject, or can say Hulubi. for MPP's presidential sponsor. Now we didn't know so I can see him trying singing them. What I say? You get somebody obeying the idea and fata and any say yes and maturity and civility. The second day, continue being ODB MPP for a presidential person. It doesn't show civility and maturity. It doesn't show civility and maturity. So, when you know, you try him singing because you are going to be so also you could start singing and pushing for them. And also, yeah, also, yeah, pa. You are going to be a West school, Danny. You are going to be a woman, a boy, man for baby. In the morning, be a no, be a senior high school. What to tell mattresses and troubles with the man and a man for. So, a bit of me idea, a bit of bomb more than you know, a bit of bomb more than a bit of me idea. And see, so can they assume to continue not to sub you, Sabioka, and some Casati Seti Bonco Sobia. It doesn't mean that I hear in a young scrabble. So also it's what is happening. You may not be comfortable with the acts of omission or commission of Kisia Jaben. But that will not be sufficient enough to call for the abolition of the entire office of special prosecutor. Because and so the papa. And then I make us say, yeah, be brave, I am some young here. In the office of special prosecutor. But you know, characters in cry and do on the common pressure of Bomson. And my be brave, yeah, could you believe that Pacha
Nana meet you, pa.
Could you believe that 2025? And no, the do second D, Takra the airport. Yabasu Yanyamano, I look at you bedrua, Honyamano, the big trolley so I baby ya. Oh, you can't believe it. Something which we experienced about 15 years ago, and the bedroom second D, Nyama, you can't just believe it. So, and you walk to Kutoka International Airport, Namitiya, make a clinic, where you and make a clinic. Echo Pedro, Mikoya or Matu. Maybe a ticket office in town. I'm sure we are no. Because you or one of coin, I would not I say we are not or quack or don't so. What would you are here for? Clinic Baco, I walk to Car International Airport, domestic honor.
Nana, there was
what to prune or quadrant so. A grandmother Olampa, Junsobu, clinic, the whole Kutuka International Airport. Clinic and Junsobu. Can you imagine something like this? Look at the incident at Kutuka International 2 years. Maybe do second D. As I'm talking now, I'm in second D. So it means that there's something wrong with us. Sana, special prosecutor, no, the Quago, Quabanabeco. Just before we play a call when you know. Before you clear none about one. We are funny a clear you do. Sign a special prosecutor, independent-minded person. Independent-minded person. MPP back on fire, NDC back on fire. No, you're not. But you know, the politicians will not allow that. The politicians will not allow that. You live in a country, change of government back, bogging you dissolve. Banks like NIB, ADB, commercial bank, or they cry the money. MPP bar, Obinian managing director, and I see you, we bar, SCC. We are not making something a special prosecutor and so crown because the lifestyle, the mentality, the conduct, the behavioral pattern of African intellectuals and African politicians, it leaves much to be desired. It leaves much to be desired. President to me, or my President Kasoba, or be making sure the party for the wonderful judiciary. Namping and pass over. One more point on the Biana woman and the party members. But the conclusion will draw on your party members. So we have a long way to go. And the special prosecutor, you know, but we call for abolition. Let's see what we can do.
Nana, where the quick one who can be without special prosecutor, no. Ghana's fight against corruption, no. Yen to me, Anna.
Yeah, but to me, why not? But because most of the institutions in are political. Because MPP bar, national security or the Nipa Bedano, regional or the Nipa Betuano, hey or the Nipa Betuano, police supreme or the Nipa. No, so and this is so bad, sir. So how can you actually effectively fight corruption? Because in our investigation of crime, or Ubia or Manuhu and favor Ubia or Manuhu. No, as I read it, someone answered Martin Pebu said, special prosecutor took $40,000 from Obiri Boahen. I read it somewhere. So no crew, and no crew. But me, it's a serious indictment because you see the special prosecutor. Now, you have 2 years in Martin Pebu. Maybe I'm Martin Pebu Kutapon. Maybe some Kutapon. It's an indictment. It's an indictment. And it's so serious because Martin Pebu as a special prosecutor at the $40,000 for Kwabena Obiri Boahen. Kwabena Adu from Port also. Or Kwabena Obiri Boahen. It's a serious indictment. Who invites Martin Pebu? Who invites Isia Japan? Who go into the matter? So do police, especially the police, CID, no, everybody, Bene and Kaisa animal. Because the police is an institution. And PPU, NDC, police war, criminal investigation department, police MPPU. So with this allegation by Martin Pebu against Kwabena, so in any enlightened society, and Cameron and the Kami, in Kadiachi, CID depending on himself for Martin Pebu, what on himself for Kisia Japi. But you are in a country called Ghana. Like Lewin said, the country called Ghana. Just as Martin Pebu was social media. When you did it. When they pass it. We live in a country, you go to the Jubilee House, your national security officers there, your people at the Jubilee House. Nobody is paying attention to this. So because publication now, I'm going to WhatsApp or no. Because Martin Pebu, nobody is paying attention. But I think that we've been let down by the police. Because police here, the institutional to me, people and can you no police from entry back. Like I said, Idana was a police officer who investigated in the murder of the 3 High Court judges and the retirement general. Idana had no recommendation. It could do a banning. The next time I said, Idana investigation of action the court to say, what protocol. Obiri investigation. The Idana for some called them 5 years. After the expiration of the 5th year, the new Idana sent them extra 3 years. There was no bench warrant, no court order, nothing covering him. Idana, police. It was a people for the buyer when they Idana. It is a police you do or no, you see, I did not use no when you are to Idana. No. A young people time I was an obesity nutrition. A young time I was an obesity nutrition. Nothing can you guide police, act professionally. And people in front and same room, and this in front and same room. And you don't need the office of special prosecutor. You don't need the office of the special prosecutor. Even in the Latin American countries, police, army, no abiding continuing control is into Tisanka was secondary head. Nasa be your bonnet now by report to a police station. Utim cost of your life, a call report. More can Ubako police station, police headquarters, Utimco, a soldier forces headquarters, call report. So in the Latin American countries, you know, some institutions in the Union, Amania come. So we have a long way to go. You know, Kwanika. This 2025 clinic at the Kutukan International Airport. The beer Obergon so in New York. This is your 2 Kobe before. If we do Takrabe Airport, now here Pigan, you may go to all this and Sassa. I mean, come on, 2025. And you have oil companies be pay water and secondly. So about 10 years back, say you leaders could do say look, you say you airport to press. Yeah, it was secondly takrade. And oil companies mama boy. And I had the mama money airport. But for security reasons, more airport to my yana bemonica. Send you be uncle for being said by being. I mean, why? What exactly is happening to our leaders, both MPP and NDC?
Nana?
We have been hugely disappointed by both MPP and NDC to a certain extent. Because in Kabinamo Doom can we do can I know my background, make one for 3. MPP train you, NDC train you. We are quite an by. And sometimes you call this bunch of leaders to say, well, we are successful leaders. How can you be a successful leader to bring any argument? If we are saying, train Trump, we have a long way to go.
Nana, any Yanko Guinea. Yanko Guinea.
Yanko Guinea. Yanko Guinea. Now, Africa, you Benin.
Benin rather, sorry, Benin rather.
You know, because if you were feeding away, so Nana can Guinea be so more friendly.
Yeah.
Nana catch a who?
November.
Oh, there.
In the month of November.
Yeah, oh, friend. Now, because a coup will not be a thing of the past. Obi because a coup will be a thing of the past. No. Mommy and Chanani, you're interested in CDT mission and dream, you're correct. Because you see, coup no, or my and you're found said. As long as people feel they are cheated and exploited, they will have a way. I mean, it is an undeniable cardinal principle in history or in philosophy or in theology. And some of the never. Now, me catch them say ancient regime French Revolution by me. Never. That was when we were discussing Guinea-Bissau. Now, I can say, hey, a baby. You see, Patrice, you in Benin, Ofana one man the constitution is a young and feeling son. Let us say, Nuna Guru, open you know a cousin. And yet, Mekaya, say, but be a woman, yes, you see about. What is there say, Macron, Wakatse Tinubu said, on for Coups, Emra Benin. Emra Macron has called Tinubu. Macron in France have called Tinubu. So many Coups known from Benin. As someone said, you know, now, Echo was for statement to be other and we are. I don't besides Echo was for me. Some you paying for me. I am the very agenda very little. Because when Patrice Talon, man, Parliament or control, on the control, the party control Parliament, majority. One more mandate from 5 years to 7 years, September, BB basic, one of the kind BBS. Echo was Antinian can Pakistan amending Echo was a monococo. After the BBS, as I Echo was when the bachelor papa. Because in Yaman and people will not sit down there. And now with the social media, media information, BBB across the baby. So let's wait up to now in Kita latest media. But I'm reliably told, I think I follow once information ba say kuna nyi kind of private TV station be. But the position now, as I'm talking to you now, say kuno ayeyi. So that is it. Some African leaders, some African intellectuals, they learn history, they don't learn from the history. They learn history, they don't learn from the lessons of history. You know, it is Ben Sonyame, Ben Serinyame, Ben Munyame, never penny bay. L'État c'est moi, man ya media. Mano, media, l'État c'est moi. So, you have the same you moving to a work, me a Jan Wall. So that is it. It could be some special prosecutor, Benina, you better not come. With an empire, me born se cool so si do Benin pa. Empire, me born. Now, go on training to me, my cool so si.
Adendra.
But it's time on come off for amend the constitution on nine yet, Papa.
Nanay, and said your work said, so you are back, say, the era of coup. Abewi no not sat nipa no ye na dwunumu meaning you are expecting more to happen in other African countries. Well,
yeah. There will plenty. There will plenty. Plenty. Let's not be surprised that one day Equatorial Guinea you have it. In Cameroon, 4 or 5 days ago, one of the opposition leaders in the Yachenoko to prison. Well, almost to abandon ya pitching by no that Yachenoko to prison. Ninro, a figure for Amma or Nyanum, oxygen I already seen so. I sent them for them. Who prison in Cameroon? Who can no crap pass or to say that's a Coups Cameroon until back I said, a Yawayana, maybe so. Patotinka.
When I'm a two capa.
Until back I say, Yaway.
Baby.
As I talking about Pobi, I was Switzerland. On the country, no resource of nation. On
Chromo crowd too.
Very on your said that trouble no by a bay, but we are rather to Anna Okoye. I think that I'm to be a dead Okoye. Also, we are Okoye, but yet for me, I could be a Macron was the first person who contacted you. I don't know, Echo was sentiment issue statement to be out.
And then I said, I will the Cameroon, or baby says, and they are that's or not say, Betty say, I want to cool be as you are. A bell day.
Well, Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Bayamida, Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Tanzania, Baby and Nipo, Baby, I bet 2 minutes, Patapaji to be a Bayamida. But
what of Alasani Ouattara? Cote d'Ivoire. Titrune,
or that's a Bayamida. I don't think any parents are assigned a Jimmy. Then, you go for a test and put on my son. You don't want to free. Ubako, no union shall be here. Now, the one thing was set to old Thomas. So I am the enemy.
I never does on pay.
You're Mr. Doctor.
Have a wonderful day today. 14 minutes after 8. I don't believe why. I am Ranimuni. Siamra Timra, Camera Cockot. Dear Samuina. And you're in the church in Comoina.
OKFM 101.7.